Hello everybody, my name is Stefan. Um, I'm very busy at the moment, so I can't do a proper video with all the nice editing and shooting and stuff. So in order to just get my Nürburgring experience out there, especially my experience with the people at RENT4RING, how I came there, how we all became friends, and how it all turned sour at the end, and all the bullshit that was going on behind closed doors. Before I get into all the details, I just wanted to uh, introduce myself for everybody who doesn't know me, who I am and what the hell am I doing here, talking about RENT4RING and the Nürburgring. Well, I was born in 1980 in a small coal miners town in North Rhine-Westphalia, where I spent the first 10 years of my life. Then my parents moved to the city of Duisburg, also in North Rhine-Westphalia. The USAF and RAF, they dropped a shitload of bombs there, so maybe you have heard of it. Served like 10 months of mandatory service in the army, and all my life since like I was a little kid, I was always fascinated by cars and their technical details, and of course of motor racing. So at one point, when I heard about the Nürburgring, my dream was always to go to the Nürburgring, and somebody told me about Touristenfahrten, that anybody can run what they bring, and of course I wanted to do that. And this dream came true in like 2002, where I took my second car for my first laps on the Nordschleife, and I can tell you, since first time the barrier opened for me and I drove out on the track, I was hooked. There was no turning back from it. I guess most of you know the feeling when you first drive out on the Nordschleife. Back then the Neue Zufahrt was already built, so I drove out on Döttinger Höhe towards Tiergarten, and it's just a special feeling. So of course I return every year. I spend as much time I can at the Nürburgring and also in the surrounding villages. Of course, Nürburg itself, I like to go for a hike there. I fell in love not only with the track, but also with the landscape and everything around. It's just a beautiful place, especially since I grew up in the Ruhrgebiet, where you most of the time only see concrete and steel mills and yeah, sometimes also very nasty stuff. The Eifel region is just, let's say I just felt right at home from the start. So over the years, I also took my little sister with me, and she wanted to accompany me more often. She wanted me to take her with me on the Nordschleife, and since my road cars, they were good, they were technical sound cars, they were in good shape. I took good care of them, made all the maintenance and stuff, and put proper brakes and tires. Nothing fancy, but good stuff, not the cheap stuff from Temu or ATU or something. But they didn't have a roll cage, and they still had the standard seats, and you know, if anything happens, her mom knew where I would sleep, so she would kick me in the nuts if anything would happen to her. So I went to RENT4RING as a customer. Dale the Duckhead made it happen. Yeah, I rented their cars. They had the full safety package. I wanted a roll cage with bucket seats and harnesses, because if you don't have a real new car with all the airbags around you, then this is, in my opinion, the best way to stay safe in case of a crash. So I rented the cars. I had a lot of fun. If you know the old Suzuki Swifts, before they had the turbocharger, they ran really fast in a straight line, but they were a blast to drive in the corners. And since RENT4RING equipped them with sticky tires and took the expense of the endless brake pads, they were even better than what you would get from the factory. They were just ridiculous. And so I enjoyed that, and I also got along with everybody at Rent4RING from the start, with Mark, Saskia, Pascal. We all got along. Especially Saskia was always pointing out. Well, she was pointing out how much she likes me, and how everybody in the company likes me, and I would sometimes bring a little something, like just a crate of cola, or soda, to just a little sign of appreciation. They gave me, from the get-go, I would get the friends and family deal, where I didn't have to pay for the first lap, and then after that I only paid every second lap. And I mean, I didn't drive very much, and I would never claim I'm a fast driver. I'm safe. I never really pushed the car on the Nordschleife, because I think unless you are in competition, there's no point of pushing a car really to its max. And even in competition, there are times where you hang back and times where you have to push, and I never pushed it. At the same time, I started to work for the Nuerburgring as a safety marshal, in the beginning as a side job next to my main job in a logistics company in the Ruhrgebiet, and that was, I think, 2020. And for 2021 I asked for a full-time contract with the Nürburgring as a safety marshal, and I actually got the job. So when I was in Nürburg, in the media center, to sign my contract, I of course took a drive through the surrounding villages. I always do that, it's a normal thing for me. Keep that in mind, that might be an interesting point later. And when I drove through Burgstraße towards Nürburg, I saw Mark Müller on the Rent4RING, on the yard. He was carrying something around, and I decided to park my car and just say hello, because we all got along. I just felt like it was the right thing to do. And I told him that I got the contract with the Nürburgring, and I will be working full time, and that I'm looking for a room right now, if he knows somebody. And he answered with, yeah, you know what, just follow me. And he got the key for the house, and then he showed me the room upstairs and told me that I could rent it. So he offered me a room for rent without me even asking. I just told him I'm looking for a room. I didn't know that he had flats or rooms to rent. Yeah, and then things moved pretty quickly after that. We talked with Saskia about it, because Mark wouldn't accept a tenant without Saskia's okay, because she lives downstairs. At that point, I think 5 or 6 years. She was working for Rent4RING and living in the house together with back then boyfriend Pascal. And since we got along very good, as I already said, she was okay with it. We agreed that I take the flat underneath the roof. There were 2 other rooms in the middle, basically in the first etage. I was in the 2nd floor. And yeah, then I moved into the house in, I think, March. I'm not quite sure, I would have to check. So I moved in, everything was fine. I didn't have much contact with Mark back in the day, but Saskia, because she lived downstairs, of course we would always talk. When I had questions, she would always answer me right away. We would text via Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp, and she would always have good tips. She told me where to go in the town hall because in Germany you have to be registered. You have to register your address with the town hall, and your car has to be registered to the new address. So I had to do all that, and I had to get new license plates because I wanted to have the Ahrweiler number plate. And she explained all this to me and told me where to go and everything. It was just magnificent. And when I actually started working, in March, we had to be at the Mühlenbachschleife, where Manta Racing was testing their Porsche. I think it was the GT4 Cayman or something. I don't know much about Porsche, to be honest. So we had to be out on the track. It was freezing cold, and every time I returned back home, you know, she was already waiting for me and was like, "Hey, come on in. I make you a hot beverage, hot hot lemon tea. You must be frozen to the bones." And yeah, she made me feel right at home. And yeah, I will talk about her in the next episode because the thing is, we became really good friends. She was actually my best friend for at least 18 months. And the last month, even years, she became outright hostile. Uh, I didn't do anything to her to you know, make her behave that way. It's all I know it sounds a little bit like tinfoil hats, but you know, it's a conspiracy constructed by Mark and his lawyer Tim, and I will talk about all that in the next episodes. I don't want to talk too much. You know, I don't have a script for this because I don't actually have the time. I'm in the process of moving. I'm moving back to Nuremberg because I have a job in one of the hotels as a cleanup woman, and I also have to fix my car because in the winter time the car had old shock absorbers. They were over 30 years old, and in the winter time that's just dangerous. And yeah, I will talk about first about her telling outright lies about me, claiming that I sexually harassed her and that I was threatening her. She told it in front of a courtroom. She actually swore an oath, committing a crime in the process, because the things she's accusing me of is either outright lies or there are stark exaggerations of things that happened in the past. There was argument and discord, of course. I mean, that's part of life. Arguments happen in the best marriage, we say in Germany, and it's just a question how you deal with it. Usually, I can always resolve my arguments behind closed doors. Best case scenario over dinner or a barbecue, and if everybody is a little bit can give a little bit of space, then usually find common ground. In this case, they decided to become just hostile and fabricate stories. They are just like you know, Gebrüder Grimm. They are just making stories up about me that are not true. The first big lie, for example, is they claim I'm a disgruntled employee that just worked there for a couple of months and now is disgruntled because I've been laid off. But that's not true. I worked in the Ruhrgebiet in logistics, and hire and fire is just normal thing there. So I would never be butthurt about being laid off. But I will get into the details in one of the later episodes. Now, as you can see, I already lost my thread again. Because I don't have a script, I just don't have the time to make this all. Yeah, I have to retell everything out of my head. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit of myself. I moved into the house. We became friends. I took care of all the garbage. I did the gardening around the house. I took care of shoveling the snow in the winter. A lot of things. And I said at the end, it somehow turned sour. I never saw it coming. I'm still suffering from the effects of mental abuse. I still need therapy, and I just want to make peace with everything. I tried to contact them, they refused to talk to me. So I feel like I don't have another choice to make this public. For once, to get this off my chest, to just you know, take the whole story to the grave, basically. So they don't want. There was just one person who had the integrity to talk to me, to apologize to me, and also give me the chance to apologize for things I did that I'm not particularly proud of. I will talk about him also later. And yeah, and you know, the worst part is that they're just lying. That I just can't accept it. I know the stories they tell about me, and I'm just not willing to let that stand. And this is why I make this video series. I don't like doing it, but I need to do it. So See you in the next episode where I will talk about Saskia and me and about the lies she's telling about me. And I'm gonna set the record straight. You can think of me what you want. You can think that I'm an idiot, that I'm stupid for doing this, whatever you want. I don't honestly give a damn at this point. My reputation is already ruined anyway. I'm a convicted felon and sex offender. So maybe I should just found a club with Mark Müller, who is also a felon. But all of that in the next episodes. See you at a later point. Bye.